Hey guys, welcome back to The Buzz. I'm Tiara Bree, and I'm sitting with Ray Lewis of Ray Lewis Presents. How are you doing, Ray?
Hi, Tiara. I'm doing fine today.
Good. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
And so today I just want to talk a little bit about what you do in the music industry and what your background is in it.
What I do is I present, I call it the grassroots movement in music, mostly about original music and performing, and where people come to listen to music in a smaller setting.
And then do you do venues around Jacksonville only?
Yes, in the past I've done concerts around the state, and primarily a lot in the San Marco location over the years, starting at the legendary Applejacks, and uh, but primarily just Jacksonville, and of course the Mudville Music Room is located at Mudville Grill, and then at Atlantic Beach, it's Culhane's. I do some Celtic shows there.
Okay, and how long have you been in the music industry?
37 years I've been doing it off and on. Of course, most of the time I had a full-time job to support the music habit.
And do you play music yourself? Are you a musician or anything? So how did you get into it?
I was going to UNF. I was the president of the Conservation Club out there on campus, and we hosted the Earth Week celebration out there, and I think it started maybe at 77 they moved out there, and then the lady had been doing it since 1970, said she wanted to move on to something different, and she asked me to apprentice for her in 77 and I 78, and I presented the concert in 79 and 80, and from there I got involved more in the local scene and going down to the legendary Applejacks in San Marco. Well, I was going there so much as a fan, they put me to work, and I ended up managing for them.
Oh, really?
Really.
That's awesome. So when you went there, you just had the apprenticeship, but did you have any other experience or?
No.
All right. Well, they definitely saw potential in you. That's awesome. So how did you get associated with Mudville particularly?
Oh, the location I was not necessarily friendly because of a mixture of regular customers and when we come in with the music. And so it wasn't working out for either one of us, so I sought out a location that had a totally separate room that would be just dedicated to the music. And I was aware of that separate room at the Mudville Grill, so I approached them, and I moved my music there 3 years ago.
And so now you have listening rooms specifically for your concerts.
Yes, and they do have this full service of food and beverage there, but I call it a listening room because I want people to come that are only there to hear the music, and I always make my announcement each show. We're a listening room, keep our conversation to a minimum during the performance, and people learn to respect that, and that's different from about any place any local musician gets to play here in town.
Okay, so the difference, between a listening room and a concert would be they're there specifically for the music.
Right, and unlike there's where most local performers perform, there's food and beverage going on, and people come there to party and talk to each other, but want to make something separate. And there's very few of these left in the South here now, in the Southeast.
Okay, and could you talk a little bit more about the grassroots movement and what the difference is between those styles?
Well, I call it grassroots because for many years I spent a lot of money producing shows, which was very costly, and then I took a few years off, and then about 12 years or so ago, a friend and I started doing concerts around the state when we saw that the face of music had changed for the few years we've been out of it. And so a friend and I thought, and several friends that used to play at Applejacks years ago, I've always longed for that listening room experience again. And Larry Mangum and I approached European Street Cafe about doing what we called a songwriter circle. And it grew from working with them for 6 years, doing that songwriter circle once every 3 months, until I had two other locations I was doing shows, and grassroots part of it is that it's all the entertainers are playing for a percentage of the door, and then the other percentage goes to covering my cost as far as the equipment and my newsletters, websites, and stuff like that. And it's grassroots because we can't afford advertising.
Okay.
And we depend on word of mouth, and that's why I call it grassroots.
Okay. And then what events do you have coming up right now? I know you have one coming up at Mudville.
Well, last night we just had a Dixieland band with a full house, and coming up Thursday we have 3 local artists doing separate sets. Roy Peak, Lauren Fincham, and Robert Lester Folsom will be there, and each doing their own original music. And then Saturday, July the 23rd, we have from Nashville, Tennessee, a lady who calls herself Mean Mary. It's a mixture of bluegrass, folk, and blues. She's very entertaining and travels the world.
And then how did Mean Mary get her name? I know you told me the story.
Oh yes, and she got involved in music very young, and she made this song, she sang on local TV and everything back when she was about 5 years old, and her song that she wrote then, she called it Mean Mary from Alabama, and Mean Mary stuck with her all the time. Her name is Mary James.
Okay. That's a very long time in music, from 5 years old. That's awesome.
Oh yes, and it's been her life, and she's also an author and very interesting lady, and her show is very entertaining.
And you said that concert's on Saturday. What time and what location?
7:30 is the show time, and the doors open at 6:30 if people want to come in early and get settled in before the show. That's quite acceptable, and again, it's a listening room concert.
All right, so no talking aloud. I got that.
Well,
not too much.
right. Don't want to distract the people who come to the table next to you. They may have come for the music, and they don't necessarily want to hear you talking across the table loudly. So we try to, a matter of respect.
I definitely understand that. And then how much would that concert cost?
It's just $10, and quite the deal for a national touring artist.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to tell the viewers about Ray Lewis Presents?
Well, I do bring in concerts and musicians from people from around the world. I do a lot of Celtic music, Zydeco recently, and just recently Supertramp's guitarist Carl Hyan was there, and with his trio, and they were all exceptional musicians. And bluegrass coming up next week. Jacksonville favorite Grandpa's Cough Medicine will be there Thursday of next week.
Sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ray, for joining us.
My pleasure, and thank you for your supporting entertainment.
No problem. And thank you all for tuning in. We will see you next time at The Buzz.